This is On the Sidelines with Box 13.
Welcome back into the On the Sidelines podcast. Ethan McReynolds with you with D-Jack Dante Jackson. D-Jack, this is a tough one. Yes. I have loved doing this podcast with you, but this is not an episode that I was looking forward to recording. The Mariners with the gut punch of the century, of the entire universe. I mean, they get as far as they did for it to end in a Game 7 on, what I would call a questionable decision by Dan Wilson going to Eduardo Bizzardo in the bullpen.
Yes. There's
so many emotions and feelings throughout the entire city. I was at the Seahawks game when everything went down, and when first Springer hit the home run, you heard like the game wasn't even on at the game while the Seahawks game was going on. I assume people were just following along on their phones.
Yes, because the broadcast was showing that.
Yeah, it was the audible gasp.
A groan.
It was half groan, half shocked gasp, I would say. I don't even know how to describe the sound when it happened, but the air just totally left the building. It was the quietest I'd ever heard Lumen Field during a Seahawks game.
Yes, and I was watching at home, and you can feel it. You can hear a pin drop in Lumen. I mean, it was surreal. The collective groan, the disappointment on the people's faces. The broadcast actually was showing people watching it on their phones, so they was tracking that game during the Seahawks game. And I had heard tickets to the Seahawks game was like preseason prices, so the town was turned to the Mariners, and of course they disappointed.
Yeah, it's such a bummer given how close they were. And, the fact that you were up 2-0 in the series, you were up 3-1 with 8 outs to go. It's going to take a while to get over this one, to fully process it. We're 3 days later, and I still haven't really fully digested everything. What emotions have you gone through? Where are you at in the stages of grief?
Right now I'm in distraction. Go Kraken.
The Kraken jersey on.
So that's the stage I'm in right now. And I'm just trying to get over it. Heartache. That's how I describe it. My heart just aches, and I could not literally get up that next morning, believe it or not. I could not get out of bed. I did not want to get out of bed and face the people because I believed in this team. I thought they would make it. I said they would make it. And they didn't. You win some, you lose some, but this was one of the toughest, most disappointing losses in sports history in the Pacific Northwest, if you ask me.
And I talked about on previous episodes how I'm not used to playoff baseball because we just haven't experienced it much here in Seattle in my lifetime. The pain of a playoff baseball elimination like this one just hits so much deeper than I feel like other sports, if you had to compare it, just because of the everyday nature of baseball and how 2 games and then one, travel day and then 3 days straight of baseball where you're just full on intense focus, concentration, passion on every single moment, every single pitch. It's just nothing like anything else you would experience. And then to have it end the way it did in a Game 7, 8 outs away from the first World Series appearance in this franchise's history. Man, does it get more painful than this? And it's
no, it doesn't. Because even if you lose in the World Series to the Dodgers, there's no shame in that. As a matter of fact, I had already resigned to the point where I just wanted to make it to the World Series. I just wanted.
That's where we're at as a fan base.
Yeah,
to be honest.
I just wanted to make it there. I would have just been happy to make it there, and then hopefully you can win it once you're in it. But I just wanted them to get over that hump and get rid of that footnote of being the only MLB franchise to never make it to the World Series or never win a pennant. I just wanted to get there, so I would have been happy with a loss in the World Series. Of course, you want to win it, but this is – I don't think you can get any worse than Game 7 and to lose. And here comes Houston, strikes again from the dead. George Springer, a guy who's been a thorn in our side with the Astros, our nemesis, and he's over in Toronto. And, I mean, the guy was hitting on one leg. And still just caught a hold of one, and I can just see it in my head. It just keeps replaying, and you just groan. Like, I don't know how to describe it. But with that being said, we talked about the Seahawks game and how quiet it was and how all the fans were following the baseball game at the football game. Here's a question for you, Ethan. Is this town a baseball town?
Yes, absolutely. I think that's been the narrative since 95, really. I mean, you saw how this town just completely rallied around the team and reversed a political decision to essentially what would have made the team move and relocate. I think that's what has fueled this frustration around this franchise over the past 20 years, that there hasn't been as much investment into the on-field product. Specifically in the last 5, 6, 7 years, because we know, the late 90s run was proof that this city loves baseball and loves their Mariners more than anything in the entire world. No matter how big the Seahawks get, and the Super Bowl years were absolutely incredible. That Super Bowl winning year was magical. If the Mariners go to the World Series and somehow win it, man, I mean, it's just going to be that times 100. And I think that just comes down to why it's so painful just in this immediate aftermath. And you mentioned wanting to get the moniker off the team of never having made it to the World Series, the only franchise. And I completely agree with you. And I think that's just it plays, it's so big into this pain and rain cloud over this franchise. The closest experience that I have to the amount of pain and sadness and sorrow that I am experiencing with this Mariners loss, it has to be Gonzaga basketball making it to the national championship in 2021 when I was still there. They were undefeated. They were going to become – they played a buzzsaw of a Baylor team. Both teams Baylor had 1 loss or 2 losses. Gonzaga was undefeated going into that. They would have become, I think, the second undefeated champion of all time, and they would have gone down if they'd won that game as the best college basketball team of all time. They end up losing the game. They didn't play well, and they lost by 15 or 20. It wasn't particularly close. Nobody talks about that team.
No.
It's similar with this Mariners team. Go forward, like that 95 team is going to be more memorable because it kept the franchise in Seattle.
Yes.
It's such a bummer that you came this close to being the most memorable Mariners team of all time. One of the most memorable Seattle sports team of all time, to just didn't get over the hump.
Right.
Like, just so close from there's such a stark difference.
Yes, it is. I mean, you didn't get over the hump. You didn't get the job done. And that's what it's about. The job was not finished. But with that being said, I do not think this is the same old Mariners. A lot of people got online. I'm never watching them again. It's the same old Mariners. I knew it. Yeah. This is not your same old Mariners. Mm-hmm. This feel is different. Like I talked about, they at the trade deadline, they made uncharacteristic moves to improve this team. And the pitching staff, if you look at them on paper, this is a great staff. They disappointed basically all season, if you ask me. Now, injuries attributed to that, but the pitching was not there, and that was supposed to be the pillar or the strong point of this team. So the team is built for success, I believe, and I think the organization has made that turn and saw that how they set this city on fire. I think they're ready to make a commitment to winning, and like I talked about before, they have to become obsessed with a championship. It's nothing left. The bar is set. All right, you went to Game 7 and you took Toronto to the brink. You almost made it to the World Series. The bar is set. You cannot go below that standard. The standard is now the World Series, and the Seattle Mariners have to become obsessed with making it there.
Well, and one of the parts that gives me optimism, specifically with the front office, I just came from Jerry DiPoto's end of season presser, and he was asked, if you could sum up how you're feeling about this season in one word, what would it be? And he said disappointed.
Yes.
And he had to hold back tears. He couldn't even finish his sentence. And so to see a guy in Jerry DiPoto who hasn't always been the most relatable in how he's come across in the media be so heartbroken and show so much care and passion for this team and for winning, something that he hasn't always backed. I'm sure he's always felt it, but hasn't always backed up in how he's presented himself. And 2 seasons ago, missing the playoffs and saying that they were doing the fan base a favor, and the 54% and all the awful PR stuff that has been talked about ad nauseum. To see him come out and say that having this historic run, going further than the Mariners have ever made it, they have never been within one game of the World Series ever, and saying that it felt disappointing, that he was disappointed. That's a big step.
Yes.
Just in the makeup of this Mariners organization, the culture coming from the top. And you talk about speaking it into existence.
Yes.
It's no more important than at the very top. And when Jerry was asked, I think about just the season as a whole, he was talking about they keep checking boxes. They won the division for the first time this year, and I thought it was going to be a whole rah, look at what we did, not what we didn't. But then he was like, there's 2 big boxes we haven't checked: winning an American League pennant and winning a World Series. And it's just so different from what we're used to hearing Jerry say. It's just felt like this whole time it's look at what we've done and ignore what we haven't done. He was like, we need to go win the American League pennant. We need to go win the World Series. I did not expect to hear that from him today, given the evidence of what we've heard previously.
Yes.
And it makes me feel like this isn't going to be the Mariners' only shot at the apple.
No. I think the stage is set. You have the talent in place. They just have to show up. If the pitching have a better year, some of those previous years, you get a few more pieces as far as batters. I think you have the team in place to be successful. With that being said, I do have a question for you. First priority, everybody says, hey, you have to keep Josh Naylor. So let's put that to the side. Okay. What would be that other priority that you want to see the Mariners do, make a move, whatever it is? Yeah. What's the priority for the Mariners this offseason?
Well, you say put aside Josh Naylor, but he is 1, 2, and 3. I mean, that is the guy. When we talk about culture changers and X factors, you love your X factors and you love your stars.
Yes.
Josh Naylor is the guy with that sort of makeup. So losing him would be pretty catastrophic for this entire offseason. And I think short of signing a superstar in free agency, which we know this franchise is not going to do, you wouldn't be able to make up what you were losing from Josh Naylor, not only the on-the-field product, but also what you're getting in the player, in the locker room, and just that attitude and mentality. It's hard to make that up. Put him aside. But he is 1, 2, and 3 in my opinion. Put that aside. They have some. I haven't dove into the free agent classes and stuff, but they have some interesting decisions they have to make. Jorge Polanco is going to likely decline his player option because he can probably get more on the free agent market. So do you get him back at 32 years old? He's only 1 year removed from knee surgery. and, wasn't the most, he had a relatively healthy season, but the beginning of the season, remember, he had knee soreness and he was having to DH and third base didn't work and all that stuff. So that's still a concern, and he's 32. You also look at Geno, and I think he's the same age, 32, 33. Do you bring him back on probably what's going to be a multi-year deal? And then, for me, like, those are two legitimate question marks. I don't think it's a slam dunk to bring either guy back when you have Cole Young, who for a stretch of the season, for a solid 4 to 6 weeks, was one of the best second basemen in baseball. So it's tough to rely on a young player like that. But I think that's a real question. You got Colt Emerson waiting in the wings, and you have Ben Williamson waiting in the wings at third base too. I don't think you can not bring back both Polanco and Geno. I think you got to bring one of those guys back as a proven commodity if you want to try to get back to the American League Championship Series.
Who would that be?
Who do I bring back? I probably bring back Polanco out of the two. I think Geno's defense is deteriorating a little bit. I'd be very open to bringing back Geno if he took some sort of hometown discount.
Yes.
But coming off a 49 home run season, I think the money that you would be paying him would be better spent elsewhere. Am I going to be mad if they bring back both? Absolutely not, and try to run it back. Like, I wouldn't be mad at all. I just think bringing back Geno, knowing this franchise and how they have operated, would prevent them from upgrading in other areas. Now, the other questions that I have, trade candidates. Do you trade Luis Castillo in the last year of his deal? His no trade clause is expired in the winter, so you're going to be able to trade him in the offseason. Do you trade Randy Arozarena? He's in the last year of his deal. Me personally, I would look at trading Randy Arozarena. I don't love. I mean, obviously he disappeared in the playoffs,
yes,
and that's not something that we thought would happen. But during the season, I don't know. One thing that I've never been able to shake is a no doubt home run when he's in left field and it's going over his head and he doesn't even move. It's the little things. Like, that's just showing up your starting pitcher. Like, do a little courtesy jog. Like, don't show the entire stadium that you didn't even have to think about, how far that ball is going to be hit. Like, it's one of those little baseball things that really gets under my skin.
Right.
That, I don't know, like, and I know, he's all about the flair, and that's sort of just part of his personality. I just don't like that sort of thing, and I don't think you're getting enough from him. I think he's a guy that you can upgrade.
Okay.
To
now, he was an all-star.
Was an all-star.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But, he ended up hitting 227. I don't think he's bringing you, or, whatever, in the 220s. I don't think he's giving you enough pop to warrant hitting 220 or whatever. Cal Raleigh does, right? If you're going to get 30 to 40 to 50 home runs, he hit 60.
What Arozarena had? Close to 30, right? 26,
yeah, that was a career high.
26?
I think it was a career high at 27.
Right.
A career high. Like, you got to be hitting 30 to 35 home runs if you're going to warrant hitting 220.
Okay, all right. Now, see, I'm the exact opposite. I despise unwritten rules in baseball.
Yeah, sure.
See, but you would know better because you're a baseball player. Mm-hmm. So I mean, hey, if it's out of the park, it's out of the park. So but let's go back to something you said as far as the Mariners organization, when you said that this organization is not going to go and get a superstar. Mm-hmm. I'm not so sure on that.
Well, paying top dollar of the free agent market.
Why not?
They never have.
But
the evidence shows that that's not something that they do. Now, acquiring a superstar via trade and then trying to re-sign him like a Luis Castillo, like a Randy Arozarena, they've done that.
Right.
But they,
what about Naylor and bringing in Suarez at the trade deadline when they rentals?
Exactly.
They've never done that.
Yes, what I was saying was in the free agent market, paying top dollar for a superstar.
I get what you're saying.
Because you have to pay the Seattle tax.
Right.
And they're not willing to do that. They're not willing to give out a 7-year contract. They're not willing to do that.
I don't know about that. I think they're ready to make that turn. Because when you look at Toronto and you look at the way they were built, they had a megastar in Vlad Guerrero. I mean, I'm going to call George Springer a superstar or a star, but they have their megastar, and he dictated the whole series. That's why they pitched to Springer. They didn't want to see Vlad Guerrero, who was, 2 batters down the line. So he dictated this whole series. They walked him. They didn't pitch to him, and when they did, I mean, boy, was he great. So you look across that field, and you see that, and you know how he impacted your game. You want that in your dugout now. Yeah. If you look at the way Toronto's lineup was, where they were just making contact, putting the ball in play, putting the pressure on the defense, I think if you're the Mariners, you're taking notes, and you go back and you build part of your team in that image. And the superstar, being Vlad Guerrero Jr., is where it all started at. We don't have that guy. All right, Cal Raleigh, Julio Rodriguez, great players. They're not Vlad Guerrero. And Vlad Guerrero Jr. showed you it's levels to this.
I would disagree. I think Cal is absolutely on that plane, and he will likely win American League MVP, showing you that he is on that plane.
But like you said, that's 1 year, Ethan. Let's keep it real.
That's fair.
Vlad Guerrero has been certified since the day he touched the field.
He got a 14-year contract.
Right.
But don't forget, and if you want to talk playoff performance, don't forget what Cal did in the American League Divisional Series. He wasn't as good in the ALCS, but in the ALDS, he had like 450. So, and I think we're having two different conversations. Do the Mariners need a superstar? Absolutely. Every team needs a superstar. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they will not go out and actually do it in free agency.
I get what you're saying. Yeah. I just beg to differ. I think they're ready to make that turn. I truly believe in this organization. I think you said DePoto got emotional. Like, he's never done that before. He was the one talking 54% and all that. And now it seems like something has
it's not his decision.
Okay.
It's the
That's
ownership.
Fair. That's
fair.
The
ownership.
That's fair.
I mean, if it was up to him, he would have done more than just sign Jorge Polanco and Donovan Solano the previous offseason. That's the evidence that we're working with.
Yes.
You know what I mean? This is a team that was on the cusp. They've won 90 games 5 straight years or something like that. Like, you're telling me that team that close, with as many holes as they had on their roster, specifically in the position player group, and they're just not going to go out and spend in free agency? There's a reason for that. It's not because the general manager didn't think that they could use a Corey Seager or Marcus Semien. I mean, remember 3 years back when that was the free agent class? It was Corey Seager, it was Trey Turner, Marcus Semien, Trevor Story. Chris Bryant was a free agent that year, and you're looking at it coming in like, man, like this is the year. This is the year that the Mariners go and splash in free agency, and you've got all these young bucks coming up, and this is the perfect time to supplement that core. They weren't in the ballpark for any of them. I mean, they weren't willing to go above 4 or 5 years for Marcus Semien. That's how they operate.
Yes.
Like this is the core principles of what they do. Now, when you're looking at the players, their own players that they bring up and extend, like look at the category of a Logan Gilbert, of what they did with Julio, 10-year contract. They're not giving that out to a free agent, but they're giving that out for the guys that they bring up. So the lack of, they're at $165 million in payroll, after the trade deadline. That's not anything splashy. That's probably top half of the league, barely.
Right.
Probably
it's
between
middle.
12 to 15.
I think it was like 16.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So I think they're not going to go further more than above, 170. I would have to guess, unless they go out and they're saving to extend Logan Gilbert. They're saving to extend George Kirby if he wants to say, Brian Wu, Bryce Miller, like these guys you have in-house, you got to pay them.
Yes.
So they're going to go, that's where they're going to spend their money. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not here telling you,
I understand
that's what I want them to do.
I understand what you're saying.
That's just how they operate. And that's where my brain is out of what I think is realistic of what they might do.
I agree with you that that's the way they operated before. But if you're an owner and you saw this city on fire, you saw that. Like, this city was on fire and it was hungry for a winner. Like, that's what's going to bring the money is the winner. If we're talking finances, is bringing a winner to the Pacific Northwest. And the Mariners showed this is a baseball town. So if you're the owners and you sat back and you watched that, you have to change your attitude. It just has to. And as far as the stars that didn't sign here, the Seagers and the Semiens, did they want to come here? Did they really? It was.
That's the other part of the equation. That's the Seattle tax.
But now that you see, if you sitting at home, if you Seager, if you Simeon, and you were sitting at home and you saw the way this city was on fire, and you saw, hey, they can use me right here. I just think it's a change. It's a change. This is a new generation of Mariners. This is a new generation of Mariner fans, and I think they're ready to turn and flip that script and move forward and be obsessed with that championship. I'm going to decide or choose to believe in this organization from this point on. Hopefully they don't disappoint and change their history.
Well, and that's the biggest selling point for Josh Naylor, right? Is you saw what this like up close and personal, not from afar, outside looking in, playing against the Mariners. You were here for the past 3 months. You saw how electric this fan base is.
Yes.
Like, I mean, he's rocking his custom Kraken jersey before every single game. So this guy loves Seattle, which is why I'm really optimistic they can get him. But, man, you better get him. You better not try to get him on a deal or whatever. You pay that man what he is worth. At 28 years old, the prime of his career, I mean, he, hidden for contact, which is something that this lineup badly needs more than just Josh Naylor.
Right.
But you take him out of this lineup and you just totally miss that skill set as a whole. And then on top of the type of person that he is, I just cannot emphasize enough how much you need to get him back. I just cannot imagine this team without him, really, just personality-wise.
And you talked about as far as signing the players that we have, okay? Let's be honest. Let's call it what it is. You have Cal on a discount and Julio on a discount.
Yes.
Your top two players, the pillars of your organization, are like in below market deals, if you ask me.
Yes.
So don't talk to me about paying Logan Gilbert and whoever else. You can afford to pay them, because if you actually had to pay your stars the market rate, you'd already be at 170, 175 as far as payroll.
Yep.
But you went ahead, and I give kudos to the organization for getting them early, and I give kudos to Cal for wanting to be here. But you're getting those two superstars at a discount, so now it's time to go ahead and pay the going rate, and Josh Naylor need to be signed yesterday.
Absolutely. Let's transition over to the Seahawks really quick. Thank God they won on Monday.
Yes.
Oh my! Can you imagine waking up on Tuesday if the Seahawks had lost that game? Oh my God! And they had control of the Texans throughout that entire game, and the offense just kept letting them back in. 4 turnovers. I mean, you got to be happy with the win, and the defense looked absolutely spectacular. Man. I mean, they are showing characteristics of the Legion of Boom, of that elite defense that we saw for multiple years. You look at the physicality they play with, the tenacity, the speed at which they play. I mean, they're sniffing out screens, they're rushing the quarterback, the cornerbacks are hitting hard. Reek Woolen, I think, played his best game as a Seahawk, with how he was ready to come up and hit. Yes. And just playing with a little bit of extra juice and fire and physicality. And Mike McDonald said during the week, he's like, Reek had a really good week of practice, and I'm excited to see him play.
Yes.
We need to see that again, though. That was a really good step for Reek, but we need to see that again. What'd you see from the defense?
10 pass breakups, if you're talking about Reek Woolen. 10 Brad.
Did he really?
No, not him alone.
Oh, okay.
Just the secondary.
Wow.
Him and Job was sticky.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw it, but my guy, Ernest Jones.
Yep.
Ernest Jones, when he hits you, you go backwards. I mean, this guy, he hits so hard in the defensive line. I was proud. I was like a proud dad, just because I've been on them all season. Hey, we need to get jumpy off the edge. Hey, we need to get pressure. I mean, Nwosu is rounded into shape. He looks great. Leonard Williams all over the place. Byron Murphy is showing his potential. The defensive line won that game. I mean, they were in the backfield, and C.J. Stroud. I mean, they just made him look silly.
Yeah.
And when the secondary is as sticky as they are, Kobe Bryant was all over the place. I just named the whole defense. it was a total team effort, but let's go to the offense, because the offense did everything in their power
to
give it back. And I'm starting to love Sam Darnold. But Sam Darnold, do not get cute, man. He's starting to make these mistakes that he did much throughout his career, where he'll look great for 3 quarters, and then he make that 1 or 2 bonehead play that just takes all the good away. I don't want to see that from Darnold. I just want him to be solid, because he showed he can be a great quarterback, not just a good quarterback, a great
he can be a top 10 guy in
the MVP conversation. He has to eliminate those plays, okay? And talking about eliminating plays, let's go to offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak.
I knew you were going to go here.
Now, I said it before in the previous podcast. When a player gets hurt, you take away their helmet, okay? I think Mike McDonald needs to take away Clint Kubiak's play sheet, all right? When he start getting cute, okay? Mike McDonald, I told you once before, this is your whole team. You need to be accountable for the whole team. I don't want to hear nothing about an offensive coordinator when they try to throw a flea flicker or a wide receiver pass, especially when Darnold is cooking. No, man, stop getting cute. Please, Clint Kubiak, stop it.
I don't know if he should take away the call sheet, because I think Clint Kubiak has been 80% spectacular. Like, if I had to give Clint Kubiak a grade, I'd probably give him a B+ for the season he's having so far. But what's stopping it from being in the A range is the boneheaded play calls of getting too cute, the Jalen Milroe
the
speed
pitch
option, the Cooper Kupp. I think instead of taking away the play sheet, I think we should put those plays in a little glass thing. Do not break in case of or only break in case of emergency.
No, I don't want to see it. No, you need to put those plays in the trash can.
No, because like those plays like work when needed. Like
you don't need those plays.
Think about the Washington Huskies when they went to the national championship. That Apple Cup, the 4th and 1. You run the end around to Roma Dunze, you pick up 15 yards, and that's the only reason that you even get into the playoff and are playing in the national championship. Those plays have a time and a place. And Cooper Kupp, I mean, JSN was open. Like, and you know, maybe if you do that in a different circumstance, like maybe it's just wide open, or I think it was AJ Barner that was running deep on that play. He's just left alone. Yeah, it was Torrey Horton. Those plays have a time and a place. Neither of those 2 plays specifically have been used anywhere near the time and place, and that's where I have the problem with it.
Yes, it's all about the results, Ethan. I mean, Dan Wilson.
Yeah, there wasn't the time and the place. Like,
Mariner
use
manager,
it in a different context, and maybe it's a different result.
Mariner manager Dan Wilson is under fire today because of the results.
Yeah, the same day he wins AL Manager of the Year. By the way,
some of the decisions he made is strictly based on results. Yeah. That's why he's a bad manager today, or get rid of him, or what is he doing? He's because of the results of what happened. So when you have Sam Darnold cooking, moving up and down the field, and you decide to take the ball out of his hands and put it into a wide receiver who hasn't thrown a pass I don't even know the last time he probably threw a pass, probably high school, okay? And you expect him to hit, Jackson Smith and Jigba going across, like, no,
running to his right.
Yeah, come on the run. That's a hard throw for Darnold, and that's his job. So I would love to see Cooper Kupp get a few more passes thrown his way, not throwing passes. Okay, that's the point right there. You need to get these plays out of the playbook. Ethan says it's a place for those plays. No, it's not. Not right now. While you're still building a team, you're still building this offense. You're still building the confidence of Sam Darnold, believe it or not. And the run game needs to get in order also. So you have other problems than presenting trick plays, gadget plays. All right, Clint Kubiak, you are not Ben Johnson, okay? All right, we are not the Detroit Lions, all right? We are the Seattle Seahawks, and if you want to run the ball and play good defense, that's what we need to do. Lean into that, because we're not running the ball as well as we should be, and Sam Darnold needs to get comfortable and eliminate those bonehead plays. Focus on that.
Yeah. Let's talk about sort of some of the positives with the offense, because there are many.
Yeah, they look great.
And JSN, oh my goodness. Just when you think he can't get better, he just continues this superstar, elite, top 1, 2, 3 receiver in the entire league type performance. He has 696 he's leading the entire league with.
I think he had 800. I think he's in the 800s.
I totally botched that stat. He's leading the league in receiving yards by 190 yards. I mean, it's otherworldly what JSN is doing at the moment.
Look, I'm sorry, sir. I wasn't familiar with your game, JSN. I must admit, I said you're emerging. You are here. You have arrived. Yeah. And he's lapping the field, and he looked great. He did it against Dirk Stingley Jr., who's an all-pro cornerback. Some say he's the best cornerback in the NFL, and JSN made him look like a rookie out there. And then he went ahead and posterized the referee after the touchdown, which is one of the greatest. I don't take the 15 yards, dog. You look great out there dunking on the referee, all right? So continue that, right? But JSN, what you said it last. We talked about him last week. You said, "Hey, he's the best. Lock him up."
Anything you want a wide receiver to do, JSN does it at an elite level. And I totally botched the stat. It was Jamar Chase in second with 629 yards.
Right.
It's JSN with 819 yards.
Wow,
absolutely
almost
crazy.
200 yards more.
It's insane. And third straight game of 100 receiving yards and a touchdown, I believe. He's in historic territory.
Yes.
And
he made history as the only Seahawk wide receiver to get 100 yards and a touchdown in 3 straight games. Yeah. I'm like, wow, nobody ever did that?
Yeah.
Not even Steve Largent, my guy, So, I mean, the dude is breaking records every week, like you said. And one of my rubs for him was about him or his game was he wasn't getting in the end zone. 3 weeks ago, guess what he did? He got in the end zone and he hasn't stopped. So now, I mean, he'll route you up, he'll run by you, and he's putting 6 on the scoreboard. What more can you do? He blocks well. I mean, this guy, I did not think that he would be the player he is today. I will admit, I'll be the first to admit that. I did not see this out of him. I did not see this coming. I think the Seahawks did, to their credit, and that's why you get rid of a player like a DK Metcalf, because you know what you have in the waiting. Now, make no mistake, he was a first-round draft pick, so you should expect that, but not at this level. Not at this level.
Yeah, I mean,
not at this level.
You want a Pro Bowl player out of your first round pick. I mean, you're not expecting to get an all-pro, first-team all-pro guy. So the Seahawks have a real one in JSN.
Yes, they do.
And, I mean, there's not really many other threats in the passing game other than JSN, and yet you still can't cover him. See, we talked about this last week.
Yes.
It was too many times where DK Metcalf just gets taken away by the defense, and you're like, oh, well, they were giving him all the attention, and so, he just wasn't open, and so he's going to other guys. That decoy role. I mean, JSN's taking defenders away. I mean, I believe it was the game last week. 3 defenders run with him, and Torrey Horton's just wide open on the left side for a waltz-in touchdown in Jacksonville. But then, so you have JSN taking the attention away from the defense, but then you also have he's getting his, and he's finding ways to get open. It's just not what we saw from DK Metcalf.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think you're being fair, Ethan, because I think you can't just put it all on DK Metcalf. He had a different quarterback in Geno Smith. I actually see Sam Darnold trusting JSN and putting it up in the air for him, and JSN has been coming down with it.
Completely disagree.
That is something that I did not see from Geno Smith or Russell Wilson, for that fact. I always wanted the jump ball to those bigger wide receivers, a DK Metcalf. They just would not throw the ball. Sam Darnold is letting it go.
They gave him jump balls.
All I'm saying is
DK Metcalf jump balls.
All I'm saying is a collective effort. It's not just about DK. It's about the quarterback also. And I see Sam Darnold just putting it in there and trusting his wide receiver, a trust that I did not see from previous quarterbacks.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think, DK had 2 solid quarterbacks here in Geno Smith and Russell Wilson. It's not like Cooper Rush was throwing.
No, I'm not saying that they were, garbage or anything. And I'm not saying like DK didn't have his faults. All I'm saying right now, that was a culmination of things, if you ask me. But right now, the connection between Darnold and JSN, he's trusting JSN. He's putting it in the air, and JSN is coming down with it. So, and that's something that I did not see in previous years. I will admit that. So I'm not saying it's all DK, all the quarterback, or anybody was bad. That just wasn't a part of their game. Sam Darnold has showed us that he trusts this wide receiver, and it's paid off.
Yeah, well, JSN and Sam Darnold, too, and specifically the defense, we talked about them. Big reasons why this team is 5-2, tied at the top of the NFC West, heading in to their bye week.
Should have a better record too, if you ask me.
Absolutely. They could be 7-0.
Yes.
You know, and it's you can look back all you want. It's football. Ways. You're gonna lose. You're gonna lose some close games, but they haven't gotten blown out. They've been competitive with every single team that they've played, and they played some good teams. I mean, that Buccaneers, that's a good team. The Niners, they're a good team, overcoming all their injuries, and you got them while they were healthier than they are right now. You head into the bye. You're tied at the top of the division. Just great vibe. And then you're going to get even better. You're going to get Julian Love back. You're going to get Devin Witherspoon back. And you're going to get Derek Hall back.
Yes.
And the defense was already so good. And then you're going to get some real key contributors back on the defensive side of the ball. Let's move on because we're behind here. Let's go to our pick standings really quick.
All right. We can run through these
not just because I'm in first. That's why we're getting to it. But I am still in first. It's 16-5, 2-1 in the week. Will Ortner of Chat Sports in second place. Was that 4 games behind? He had a 2-1 week. Austin 2-1 week at 11-10. Dante, bringing up the rear, 10-1, 1-2.
I was distracted. All right, I was blaming on the Mariners. I was blaming on the Mariners. I was distracted.
Baseball. All right, let's give our picks for the week. Will Ortner of Chat Sports, his underdog, the Chicago Bears, at the Baltimore Ravens with Lamar Jackson potentially being back there. That is his underdog. His other 2 picks.
That's a good pick.
He's taking the Bills at the Panthers. He's also taking Michael Penix and the Falcons at home against the Dolphins. I'll give Austin's, and then I'll go to you, Dante. Austin's dog, the Panthers at home against the Bills. So Will and Austin opposite picks there. He's also got the Chiefs against the Commanders with no Jaden Daniels, and then he's got the Colts at home against the Titans. Dante, over
you gonna have to read my picks.
Your dog, you got the Browns at the Patriots.
Yes, go Browns. Go Browns.
What are you thinking there? Dylan Gabriel.
Yes.
Patriots are pretty good.
You know what? They leaning into the run game. It's not about Gabriel. It's about Judkins, and he looked great this past week.
I got him on my fantasy team. He's looking pretty good.
And then you still have a solid defense. I think the Browns, this will be Gabriel's 3rd or 4th start. I think he's getting comfortable. I like the Browns in this situation.
All right, and you also got the Bucks as heavy favorites at the Saints. That's a pretty safe pick. Colts at home against the Titans.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, Indiana Jones.
Looking like an MVP candidate. Who would have thunk it?
I know, right? Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, same with Sam Darnold. Who would have thought? I mean,
they were on the same staff last year.
Yeah,
so over there in Minnesota. So they're both cooking right now.
My picks, my underdog. I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers and the aforementioned DK Metcalf at home against the Green Bay Packers. I just like the Pits. I like the Steelers. I like going with the home team.
Is that a dog? Pittsburgh?
Yes. The Packers
right?
are pretty good.
Right.
Yeah. So, but I like the Steelers at home there as an underdog pick. I'm going with the Chiefs against the Commanders. The Commanders don't have a chance if Jaden Daniels is out. I believe he's already been ruled out. And then I got the Broncos at home against the Cowboys. So
I actually like Mariota. I think he's one of the better backups for sure. I think the Commanders.
Chiefs are rolling.
I think the Commanders push the Chiefs. I already made my picks. I'm picking Commanders there.
Wow.
Yes.
I mean, do you want to change your underdog?
No, I'm not going to change it.
Second underdog.
I'm just saying.
I think you're just like hating. I think you're just on hate watch against me.
No, man. I love it, man.
No, hate all you want, DJ. I like it, bro.
There's no hate. No money line McReynolds. I love it, man. Hey, we're a team. I take credit for those picks too, right?
All right, we have a couple of minutes left. I want to briefly talk. The Seattle Sounders are about to start their postseason run. I mean, we haven't been able to. We haven't had time to talk about them because the Seahawks and the Mariners. But the Sounders about to start a 3-game series with. That just sounds wrong in soccer. I'm sorry. MLS needs to change that. Best of 3 series against Minnesota. They're the 5 seed.
What would you like to see? What's wrong with best of 3?
It's not soccer. Like if you're gonna do a series, do the 2-game aggregate scoring or do the 1-round knockout series. I mean, a playoffs in general is it's an Americanized version of soccer to even have a postseason. I like having the postseason, but having a best of 3 is pretty. No one else does that.
Right.
It's just
maybe that's what it is.
Playing the same team 3 games in a row just doesn't do it for me.
Okay.
I'm not a fan.
I
of it,
was just wondering.
Yeah. So Sounders are going on the road to Minnesota. First game on Monday. Pedro de la Vega's out for the season. He tore his patella tendon. That's just such a bummer for him.
Right.
With all the injuries that he's battled, and the timing of it as well, and a pretty pointless, a very pointless. They were already locked into the 1 seed final regular season finale. That's a big loss.
Yes.
That's a big loss.
It's
Ryan Kent on the wing is already, coming back from injury. So suddenly you're not as deep there as you once were, and that was one of your deeper positions.
I still think they're deep enough. I think they will be okay. I mean, I think they're still in the running. They're still contenders. Mm-hmm. You hate to lose somebody like Pedro, but I think the Sounders will move on. And I wanted to talk about Minnesota because Minnesota has been a thorn in the Sounders' side all season. I think they've beaten the Sounders twice this season already, and they pack it in. They frustrate the Sounders. I don't know if the Sounders even scored against them all season. So if they did, it was probably 1 goal. So Minnesota is a team that has beaten the Sounders. Seem like they have the formula to beat the Sounders. So they better watch out. This will not be an easy series.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a style of play that has really frustrated the Sounders in the past. You look at LAFC sort of plays that way, and they had the 10-game winless streak against LAFC. Like to pack it back and then counterattack. And, Brian Schmetzer has tried, a variety of things to get around that. But with Minnesota specifically, wasn't really able to unlock it. I'm trying to find so they lost 1-0 back in August against Minnesota. And that's where he started Osaze de Rosario up top over Danny Musovsky to try to have a bigger striker for them to have to worry about more. Didn't exactly work. They had a lot of really good chances in that game, but they weren't able to put any of them home. And then looks like back in June they lost to them 3-2. And that was
so they did score.
That was but that was at home. So it's going to be tough going into Minnesota, and you got it's a 1-1-1. So you got in Minnesota on Monday. The following Monday you're in Seattle. And then the following Saturday, Game 3, if necessary, that's back in Minnesota. So you're going to have to beat Minnesota at their place to be able to advance in this series.
I think they will. And I think that the way the playoffs set up, where it's a game and then a week, I think this will only help the Sounders get healthier and get a Ryan Kent back and get some of those players. When
you got Jordan Morris, he's playing pretty well up top right now.
And you got Yamar coming back from injury also. So I think this series will help the Sounders get healthy. I think they advance and beat Minnesota. I love the momentum that they have right now. I'm looking for the Sounders, of course, to go to the championship.
No way. Hey, hot takes over here.
Of course, man. Of course.
Do you need to
go Sounders?
Eat a Snickers or something? I feel like you're not feeling like yourself.
I do.
Yeah.
You know this the podcast of champions. Come on now.
I think it's a huge benefit, and you're getting Minnesota instead of LAFC because LAFC was so hot they get up to the 3 seed, I believe. So actually, let me double check my facts there as I have it up. Yeah, LAFC in the 3 seed, so they're like the hottest team in the entire league with Heung-min Son, who's like a legend in the Premier League, coming over and just bossing MLS. So I don't really want to run into LAFC, and I'm glad the Sounders.
We ain't scared. We ain't never scared. We beat LAFC.
I'm scared of LAFC.
We beat them, and the Sounders showed you. Inter Miami, you name them, they beat them. Yeah. So Sounders are a collective more than, and they have a couple stars.
And they have the championship DNA.
And I like the way they play. So I ain't scared of no LAFC, Inter Miami, Minnesota. We got them. We got them.
Yep. Yeah. Tough Mariners loss, but man, a lot of excitement with doesn't make up for it. No, it is still incredibly painful. But the Seahawks, top of the division, the Sounders about to start a hopefully deep postseason run. A lot of fun here on the sidelines, and we are talking about all of it every single week. That's going to do it for us, DJ. You got anything else to say to people?
Make sure you follow us on Instagram at On the Sidelines Podcast.
Yep. that's going to do it. For D-Jack, Dante Jackson, I'm Ethan McReynolds. See you next time on The Sidelines.
Let's go!
On the Sidelines is available wherever you get your podcast.